I'll show you.
Sarah Tanoy came to me and said, Nick, I want to do something about FGM. I mean, she said, Nick, I don't want my daughter to go through what I went through. And they do type 2 circumcision here, which is the removal of the clitoris and the labia minora and the labia majora. And the wound is so severe that the girl is left with her leg tied to the roof of the hut for upwards of 5 to 6 weeks because it's too dangerous for her to put her legs together. And I mean, it's brutal.
I've passed a lot of bleeding during my circumcision, so I use that experience because I really believe it, and I feel that wow, it's not something that the other generation should pass this. Although I have already passed it, but how can I rescue the other guys? Maybe my parents. They are the one who decide for me, it's not me, and it's the culture who force also them to do that. But I think that how can I, yes, I have undergone, but am I going to be silent, to remain like that?
Well, now it's how you become a woman. It's your graduation, it's ingrained in the culture it's your rite of passage to womanhood. You're not clean if you're not circumcised. You're not allowed to participate in ceremonies, and the Maasai love ceremonies. I mean, their whole culture is based around ceremonies that mark out their life, their age set, their graduations, their marriages. It's a hugely important part of the culture. And you're not married. You're not considered marriageable. And in such a patriarchal society where women have so little power, if you don't get married, you are outcast. So if you make sex really unpleasant and really painful, then your wife is not likely to go and have an affair with somebody else while you're away for 3 months with your cattle finding pasture. So I mean, it's clearly that's where it started. It has become something much greater than that. And of course, the difficulty for a lot of women is that they never have a chance to mature sexually. So they never really, even the women who've been cut, they never really understand fully what has happened to them. Scarring is so bad that, that even sex is difficult. You can imagine how hard it is to deliver a child. The local health facility, she says what she has to do is she has to cut the woman so hard when there's a problem, when there's been very bad keloid scarring. She has to cut the woman so severely. She gets the baby out and just almost throws the baby aside, and she has to work so hard to save the mother's life because the bleeding involved in that kind of cutting to get the baby out before it dies is so extreme. So there's massive health risks, and that doesn't even look at what is being denied in terms of sexual pleasure for the woman and for both parties involved in the sexual act. We started working with the community. The women understand quite quickly that they have been mutilated and that their human rights have been violated, and they have started to become agents for change. Majority of families, it is the man's decision, and he makes it lightly. There can be a debate and a discussion, and then he'll go, cut her. As if it's not which is we are using with men is to discuss sexual pleasure and the female orgasm and talking about what sexual intimacy actually is. It's very interesting when you work with men's groups and you talk about how the genitals develop in the womb and how the same nerve endings that form the penis form the clitoris. And then the men are suddenly aware that it's like cutting off the top half of your penis. It really is, it seems to be quite a powerful way of changing men's attitudes. The whole project is community led. I mean, you know, I fundraise and I help create the performances, but it's entirely their message. This is the message they want to take to their community, and they have guided entirely the program design. To answer the first part of your question, I think the journey to that decision is a long one, and it's a complicated one. The key to the discussion has been the performance we do. Well, the performances happen regularly throughout the year, and we're performing in markets. We're performing in. Last night they were performing in a homestead after dark. So it becomes a discussion point, and the performance has men and women singing for it and men and women singing against it. So both sides of the argument are presented on stage. The men and women singing against it, they have the best song and they have the best performance, and then people start defecting, but there's still people on stage who are resisting, and the message of the performance is, well, let's just discuss it. What are the issues?
What you do with them? Manager. Can you run ma? I could not very careful. Manager. Now number is only manager. Manager. Can you like a I can come to
So then the next stage for us is really the workshops, where you bring usually about 20 participants together for 3 days, and we have a whole curriculum, and they spend the whole time talking about exactly what the health risks are, what the cultural beginnings and importance of it is, what the alternate rite of passage is, how that differs from FGM. We work with the men, we work with the Morans, the warriors, and it's very crucial for them to start that. The new age set is coming up, so they're going to start building their manyata this year or next year, and then, as I said earlier, there'll be almost 5,000 young men living in this manyata, and it's crucial that they publicly state that they want to marry uncut girls, because especially for the poorer families in the community, their daughter's value is as a bride. And if a mother thinks her daughter will be denied marriage because she's uncut, they will cut her. So we've got a big campaign. Tomorrow we've got another group. They're just emerging now, so it was not that many Morans around. But we're starting to work with them, and we're trying to identify good singers so we can have a safe Moran group who will work almost exclusively within that manyata with their peers and discuss this issue. Let us offer the community a bridge, a lesser cut, and a sticking point is this thing with the bad blood in the clitoris. So it's called kisasa, and they cut the clitoris so it bleeds, and the girl is up and running around the same day. But my concern, and Sarah's concern, is that these women have been used to excising the whole clitoris, and when they say they're just drawing blood, which is still intolerable, but obviously a lesser evil, they may just excise the whole thing, and there's no way to police this. And any cut is also, it's illegal, and it's a violation of the girl's human rights. So, but it has, the community has moved into, I mean, there's only probably 10% of girls who get the full cut. 2016, 20% are having the alternate rite of passage, no cut, and about 60 to 70% are having this small cut, and then 10 to 20% are having the full horrendous cut that was being done to everyone when we started. The challenge now for us is to work out, for those people who feel that for them doing kisasa is stopping, but it's not. You know, and it still can mean, the removal of the clitoris. So it's got to be. I mean, and that's known as type 1 circumcision. I mean, it's recognised as a form of circumcision around the world. So the symbolic cut doesn't work. I mean, we're not going to let them stop there. I think at the end of next year we were talking of having a community-wide ceremony where there was an announcement. They want to have this is their design to announce that the Loiter Maasai were stopping.
The community is changing, although the change is gradual, because we have to respect the culture of the people, and we want them to have a collective abandonment so that we should not leave anybody behind. And I get a lot of questions. 3 elders approach me, they take me aside after the show, and they take me and say, "We know your father, we know your mother. Is this the right thing you will do for us as a community?" I love my community, and I really love my culture, but I am giving you education. This is part of my duty. I'm doing my work that it's a gift that I'm giving to the incoming generation, the future generation. So I'm never afraid of talking about this. But I have to talk in a more respectful way so that I should also preserve what the community expected of me. So I have always to balance so that they understand me and they understand the difference between me who went to school and them who have not gone to school. So I have always to ensure that my approach to community issue is always in a respectful way that it respects the norms and belief of the community. We talk, I don't have to cheat. I have to tell what I'm doing, because that is exactly what I'm doing. I don't want to have a section of the people going away and a section of the people going the other way. I want the whole community to understand this thing. It doesn't matter how long it takes, but I have to work for it.
Thank you for the organization, for the family, that you make us to give our family, our community, at least we give them a light. where they should have somewhere to start, because in the beginning maybe they don't know where they are doing, they don't know where what they are doing, but now at least we have given them the light that this is something that we are giving the new generation that they are coming.